Oh, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. There was a little delay with my laptop. I am jamesiajohnai, the wealth creator. Show people how to use other people's money to pay their mortgage, create cash flow, and generate generational wealth. Today, want to talk about paying yourself first. So I did a poll in my Facebook group, Real R.E.A.L Money, and asked people what it was they were looking to accomplish, during COVID-19. Did they need to save more money, make more money, focus on credit and different things like that? And some people mentioned saving money and budgeting. So I have added in the group a budget worksheet for those who may not have one. It is electronic. The budget worksheet is an Excel spreadsheet, and then there is also a personal financial calculator. So if you are watching this on YouTube, if you visit the Linktree link and contact me, and you want that personal financial calculator or the Excel spreadsheet, I can send it to you, right? Just want to hit on a few key points, just have 5 points to talk about when we talk about paying ourselves first, when we talk about budgeting or a spending plan, because some people don't like the word budget, right? So let's call it a spending plan, right? So jumping right into it. First thing you want to do is figure out how much money you need monthly to cover your expenses. Not how much money you make, right? That's not what I said. You need to figure out how much money monthly you need to cover your expenses. Whether that's, and then you can break that down weekly, bi-weekly, right? The spreadsheet that I included in the group is bi-weekly because when I was working, I was paid every 2 weeks. So it's already filled out where you can add in the date that you get paid, but whether it's bi-weekly or weekly, you can add in the date. You can also put, how much money you get paid, because of course that's going in the budget. But the first thing I want you to do is figure out how much money you need monthly to cover all of your expenses, right? Either way, you're going to figure out whether you have positive cash flow or negative cash flow once you're done. So one of the things that I would do is, so when you see the spreadsheet, if you see the spreadsheet, I will put how much I made. And then first thing I'm doing is saving, right? I'm paying myself first. Then I'm paying my rent, mortgage, and it's broken down into different bills and expenses that I had. Feel free to change the fields out to make sense for what works for you, right? And then at the bottom, it's going to give a total. And then under that total, it's either going to be positive or negative. If the number is positive, that means you have positive cash flow. If the number is negative, that means you have negative cash flow. No need to be alarmed. You're just aware that the money that you're bringing in every 2 weeks isn't enough to cover your expenses. And then I broke it down by what was due during those 2 weeks. So maybe the cable bill is due on paycheck one, but my life insurance is due on paycheck two, right? So figuring that out and breaking it out, sometimes it's even good to break up your mortgage or your rent payments in half. I know some people who, when they get paid around the first of the month, they pay their mortgage out of that check or their rent out of that check, and then they sometimes have less money during that pay period to last them to the next pay period, right? So just think about potentially breaking that up in half. But first thing you need to do is one, figure out how much money you need monthly to cover your expenses, right? But on that spreadsheet, on your spending plan, you're going to put how much money you actually make. If you are not making enough, let me stay focused, right? So I mentioned number two already. So number one is how much money do you need monthly to cover your expenses? And put that number on your spreadsheet, right? Put that number on your spreadsheet somewhere, because if you aren't making that, there are a few things that needs to happen. Right? But put that on your spreadsheet and then put on your spreadsheet how much money you actually bring in. Second thing is you want to pay yourself first. So on that spreadsheet, the first line item is yourself. I don't care if you pay yourself a penny, nickel, dime, quarter, dollar, 5, 10, 20, 50, hundreds, thousands, whatever it is you can do. Make sure you're in the habits of paying yourself first, right? Save what you can until you can save what you desire or should be saving. But make savings a habit. A lot of people who receive direct deposit, you can allocate where a certain amount of your paycheck goes to your checking, another part of your paycheck goes to your savings. One of the things that worked for me was having an online savings account where, in order to access the money, I have to transfer it and wait a couple of days. Now I know with Zelle, a lot of things are in real time, but in order to transfer, I would at least have to wait a couple of days. So if I really need, do I really need this money? If I really need this money, I have to wait 3 or 5 days for it to come to my account. But it's also a way to save. Your savings is automatic. It's on autopilot, and you're not thinking about the money, and you're not even missing the money because now a different amount is coming to your checking account, right? What we're seeing right now in COVID-19, what a lot of us are experiencing, and rightfully so, is saving for a lot of people isn't the easiest thing, because what we usually do is pay all of our bills, take care of all of our expenses, eat out, entertain, do different things. And then it's like, oh, wait, I didn't save any money, right? So if we make savings a habit from the beginning, it can become a ritual, that habit, if we get into the practice, right, of saving money. Because the goal is to have 6 months of expenses in a bank account, in a savings account, in a liquid account. You want your 6 months emergency fund savings to be in a liquid account, meaning you can go and access that money. There are no penalties, there are no fees. You're not paying any taxes to access that money. You need that money in a liquid account. You don't want that money to be in your 401k, 403b, someplace where you will have to pay a penalty or tax. You need that money in a liquid account. Put it in a savings account. Capital One used to have decent interest rates. Ally Bank, I believe there's another one called Marcus and Navy Federal Credit Union. Those four have some of the highest percentages for savings. And the goal of saving this money isn't to make it grow, right? It's not to make it grow. Right? How can I say that with ease? Because the rule of 72, Albert Einstein, right? If you take your percentage for your savings account, right? And you, what am I trying to say? So let's say you get 3% on your savings. If you put $1,000 in your savings account, 72 divided by 3 is what? 24? It will take 24 years for your money to double. So your money is not sitting in your liquid account to grow. It's sitting in your liquid account so that you have 6 months of savings in a liquid account. What about putting the money in a Roth where you can take it out without penalty? You can take it out without penalty, but doesn't it count as provisional income? And then you have to claim that money on your taxes again. You have a tax now bucket. You have a tax deferred bucket. You have a tax later bucket, a Roth IRA. You have a tax never bucket, Roth IRAs are tax never, but no, you do not want your 6 months of emergency money in your Roth IRA. You want that in a checking, savings, money market, completely liquid, tax now bucket, right? That's where you want that money. You don't want all of your money in one place. So I'll talk about this another day, but just to touch on it, answering Ron's question, and I'm sorry for those of you on YouTube, somebody asked, what about putting the money in a Roth where you can take it out without penalty, right? You can take it out without penalty, but that money is considered, if I'm not mistaken, provisional income. I thought that was post-tax and only the profits are taxable, but that's not what see, that's the thing, right? You're thinking about taxes. So when you pull money from your 401k, when we pull money from these different accounts, and I can fact check and double check myself, right? That money still is going to count in that year as provisional income, right? So even with a 401k, when you reach 59 and a half and you go to take out money, whether it was pre-tax, post-tax, the gains or not, that money will count as provisional income that you will have to put and include on your income taxes, right? So we really have to understand the tax implications behind the different vehicles that we choose. So even once I'm 62 and I can pull money from my 401k, IRA, whatever it may be, and I may be pulling down principal, that's going to count as provisional income for me, right? So that's something to think about. But bigger picture, no, your 6 months of reserve should be in your tax now bucket. You have a tax now bucket, you have a tax deferred bucket, you have a tax never bucket. There are 3 tax buckets. You need to figure out how to have the right amount in each bucket so that when retirement time comes, you that I'll do later on in the future, right? So you want to figure out how much your expenses are. That's number 1. And then you also want to put how much money you make. Those two may not be the same thing. If you make more, great. If you make less, we're going to get to that, right? Second thing you want to make sure is that you are paying yourself first. You want to have 6 months of reserves in the tax now bucket. So that's in a checking account, savings account, money market account that is very liquid, right? Very, very liquid for you. 4, right? So let's say you have more month than money, more expenses than money. You want, don't freak out, right? First thing you want to look to see is where you can cut expenses, right? So that's the first thing. Can you cut some things down, right? Once you've cut the fat as far as you can cut the fat, if you still have more month than money, now you need to think about other ways to generate income and make money. But don't freak out. You've been living and surviving and figuring it out this long. Continue to do so. And hopefully you're not doing, I made that number 3. That should have been number 4. But so number 4, the other thing is avoid credit card debt. You don't want to look at the deficit and say, oh, I can use this credit card to cover the deficit, right? In order to play the credit game properly, and I'll include some resources in the group as well. In order to play the credit game properly, you want to be charging things that you can pay off at the end of the month, right? Credit can be used for travel points. I know people that travel for free with credit cards, fly for free, stay in hotels for free, right? But you want to keep your utilization at something reasonable. You want to, if you're charging something, be sure that you can pay it off within 30 days because you don't want to pay an exorbitant amount of interest on whatever you're purchasing, right? And then number 5, if you don't have money affirmations, wealth affirmations, do create some money affirmations, some wealth affirmations. Money flows to me easily, frequently, effortlessly. Money knows my name. Me and money are one. I do have, if you go to my Linktree link, I do have a affirmation and visualization workbook that is available for free, right? I try not to make these things too long because I have a short attention span and you probably do as well. So I am jamesiajohnai, the wealth creator. I show people how to use other people's money to pay their mortgage, create cash flow, generate generational wealth, and protect their assets, right? So today we talked about paying yourself first. We talked about the importance of spending plan, budget, having an emergency 6-month reserve fund. There are, if you are in my real money group on Facebook, r.e.a.l money, there are files I have added to the group, a personal financial calculator so you can figure out what your net worth is, and also an Excel spreadsheet if you do not currently use one or have some sort of spending plan or budget hike. Feel free to contact me through the Linktree link or leave a comment on this video, but I will need your email address or something to send it to you. So maybe you want to contact me if you don't want everybody to know your email, right? So I am jamesiajohnai. Like the video, love the video, comment on the video, share, invite people to the group, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about mortgage protection. Eventually, you're going to get to the 5 C's of entrepreneurship, right? This is the workflow channel. So we talk about wealth, entrepreneurship, real estate, and capital. Trying to make sure I touch on all of those topics each week, right? So have a great weekday for those who enjoy 420. Happy holidays. Have a great one. Can't you put it in the No.